Wow. Ferguson. Okay. That Ferguson. I still both of them in here.
You might have a hot myself.
1, 2, test 1, 2.
Pretty respectful of people that don't have. 7:30 or 3. Yeah. John, we're gonna get going. Thank you.
Just let me know.
Okay, you wanna just, I don't wanna rush you.
Oh, we haven't been
I know.
forever.
But
But I haven't.
Right, I'm gonna get it going to this slide, all right, and then, put them out there. Good evening, everyone. Name is Christine Todd, and I am the chair of the Dukes Commissioners and responsible for you all coming out on cold November night. So, uh, I just thank you. I really want to thank you all for making the effort to be here and to be so supportive of this endeavor from the beginning. And I say that from my heart. This has been a difficult matter to deal with on both sides. And I think it's really important that we have our community represented the way that we do tonight, and that members of the steamship get to see the people who are affected by the service, and that our associates here represent the island have an opportunity to see people as well. So thank you for coming. A couple of things I just say. Subject of the Ship Authority has been in the news, affected the lives of many who live here, commute here, or off island to work, vacation, etc. So we call this our lifeline. The steamship represent themselves as our lifeline. So we're here to address matters that touch upon that. We felt it was time to invite senior management of the Steamship Authority here to meet with our citizens and answer questions, address concerns, and gain a greater understanding of how this service impacts our lives. Also for those in our community to maybe gain greater understanding of how the steamship operates. Understanding this is an area of frustration. We ask for all to be respectful of each other throughout the evening, to address questions respectfully. We definitely want you to share your experiences. We're hoping that it's not too repetitive. John Abrams is here to assist me in moderating the meeting, and so he'll do a good job of that. You'll see. To my left, your right, is Malkin, our representative appointee of the Steamship Authority, or for the Steamship Authority by the County Commissioners. Joe Solito, to his right, is one of our Port Council representatives in Oak Bluff, and John Cahill is the other Port Council representative in Vineyard Haven. We're here to encourage you to ask questions. We put together an agenda that certainly doesn't cover everything, but we thought it might hit upon some of the major concerns that have risen to the top over the course of time. Let's put it that way. I don't go back too far, but this all has not just happened overnight. I'm going to turn this over now to John Abrams, who's right behind me. And we'll get this going. I just wanted to make sure everybody knows we have in the audience. And if you just raise your hand, Doug Ruskin, a fellow commissioner of mine, is over here. He has one mic, and I believe there's another one. Is there on the side? Who has the mic over here? Okay. And you have to please speak into the mic. Guys, they won't be able to hear you, and Zoom will not pick it up. Okay. So thanks again for coming, everyone. I'm going to let Bob Davis do that. Bob Davis, the general manager. Let me do that before you speak. You have the mic.
Good evening, everyone. Bob, the general manager of the Steamship Authority. With me, Ian Sitton, Paul Hennessy, Allison Fletcher, and in the row, Stephen Coleman, Angela Campbell, Janice Kennefick, Joe Russis, Sean Driscoll to the side, and Sheila and is assisting Sean. Sure. General manager. Mark is the director of engineering and maintenance. Paul is the boat captain. Allison is director of shoreside operations. Stephen is the director of IT. Angela is the reservation manager. Janice is the director of human resources. Joe is our operations and communications center manager. John is our communications director, and Sheila is a marketing coordinator. Did I miss anyone?
Did you get them all? So I want to thank you again for being here. Everybody. I also think there are a number of, is it licensed deckhands from the Steamship Authority here tonight? So welcome to you too. So does everybody have an agenda? This is kind of important. If anybody doesn't, there are more down below. And maybe Kim will even. Okay. So we're going to take this agenda from the top. I think there are 8 topics on it, and we're going to do each one and spend about 10 minutes on it. If it needs more, more. And there are all kinds of things that are not on this agenda, but they'll come at the end. So if you do ask a question or make a comment that's not about agenda item, I'll ask you to bring it back later. We are going to do this in a way. One of the things that happens in forum like this is somebody says something, and somebody else has the same question or the same idea or the same complaint. And so at the end, in order to save time and get everybody to be able to have a chance to speak, at the end of each comment, I'm going to ask, Are there others that have that same comment? And are there others that agree? We'll just do a thumb up so we can get a sense of the room. And those of you that have the same comment won't need to voice it. Okay, does that make sense? And complaints are fine. Ideas for solutions are even better. Questions are better too, but all is fine for tonight. What else did I want to say? All right, so please be concise, brief, spicy, get it out there. Think about what you want to say before you say it. And please, one idea, because that way people can actually respond to them. If you want to come back for another one, great. Christine said it, but respect is absolutely important. No personal attacks, nothing of the sort. Fair enough? So anybody have any questions about how it's going to go? So the first topic is the CEO search committee. Anybody have questions or comments about that? Jim, do you need a mic?
Can you hear me? I guess so. Jim Malkin, and I'm the member for Martha's Vineyard. Thank you, John. Thank you, management, and thank you in the audience for coming. CEO Search Committee. There's a 4-person search committee. I am on it. The board member from Barnstable is on it. The board council from Falmouth is on it, and the board council from Nantucket is on it. That's 4 people. We discussed at the board meeting, which was today. The way the process will run is that 4-person committee, which is meeting on Friday, will get together. We have 6 potential search firms that we'll be interviewing. We will make a determination which search firm to use. Once we have the search firm, the next important thing is to define clearly the role of the general manager, the experience that we are looking for from a new general manager, and the qualifications of a new general manager. Search committee will help our group, the professional will help our group determine the candidates, who is the best candidate. We'll try and narrow it down to perhaps 3 candidates. The board will interview the final 3 and make a decision. We expect this process to take probably 4 months, perhaps a bit longer. And then it is our intention to do a global search to find the best possible candidate to lead the organization going forward following Bob's retirement as general manager. We are hoping to find qualified people with good maritime experience, people skills, the ability to lead a group, and the ability to help us take the Steamship Authority forward in a very positive and constructive manner. Technology. Okay, thank you.
That was just a warning. All cell phones. That's all right. No, you were helping out. So, any questions about the search committee? So we've got one right here, and then right low. There comes the mic. So raise your hands again.
Thank
One
you.
there, one there. Okay.
Oh, this is very, very brief, just semantics maybe. It's a CEO search committee. I look at 2 positions differently as the general manager and the CEO of the organization. Is it one and the same in your search?
It's the same.
Okay, okay.
It's
I'm just saying it is the same.
Yeah.
This is what's on the printed form then. Okay.
all right. All right. Next. Can you just pass that right up?
Good. Oh, yeah, sure. You use the word maritime. Are you prioritizing a maritime operational background as opposed to, let's say, a financial background or some other kind of managerial background?
as one person in the committee, I want to make sure that that there's a strong general manager background that has a lot to do with maritime team building and organizational effectiveness.
And we got one down here too. So that's next, and then Doug,
Hi, I'm Bob Lusky from.
Go ahead.
Boston, and thank you all for being here. This will be a bit premature, but I'm wondering in the search for a general manager, whether the process of hiring the general manager will include some feedback back public. This is the candidates meeting the public. We're going to be a closed type of thing, or haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, great question. As happens in our towns with hiring, what will happen is the candidates will be narrowed down to a smaller group. And you do this so that people don't wind up losing their jobs because we heard they were looking. And but once we get down to a final group of candidates, then that will be an open session.
Hi,
Thanks,
thank you.
Jim.
Abba here from Edgartown. Jim, I just have a quick follow, kind of what he was asking. I'd like to know from Jim, how this search committee intends to keep the public informed as the process continues, or are we going to get to once and not know anything? I'm hoping there's a communication plan involved in the search. Thank you.
you want to answer that? I think that was a scent that there will be. I think that you don't want to answer, is there going to be a public process for communication?
The answer. Hello, I'm happy to answer. Yes, there should be communication insofar as people know, to let people know things are progressing, but without violating the confidentiality of the positions in their current jobs.
Did anybody get answered they want to about the general manager? Where? Okay. Oh, and then there's one up top. Gotcha. And then another. Okay, so let's do this, and then the mic will go up. Gotcha.
This is a extremely critical search for not just this island, but Tucket and all of the port cities. It seems to me like just 4 governors doing the search is not really appropriate. Like in any business situation, certainly doing CEO searches, having the search being a little bigger. I think that if they were to bring in one or two people and make a search committee of 8 or 9, could be much more thorough. People could spend more time looking and thinking. I'll shut up. You got the
Thanks,
more
Mark.
than 4.
Thanks, Margaret. Do people agree with that? Is that a shared sentiment? It's a large number. Where are we? Right there.
Well, local, Jim, you said local, but I'm thinking maybe you national search?
Global.
Oh, global, okay.
What was the word you
And
used?
will in-house candidates be considered or not?
Speaking as one member of the committee, I want the best possible candidate for this job.
I would just encourage a maritime background.
So we're going to move on to their topic. Like, we still got a few people. If it's something fundamentally different, keep your hand up and we'll get to you. So can everybody state their name and tone before you speak?
Stephen Arujo. I'm asking, you guys lost a good man, a COO recently. Who would have been perfect to take over the job? Him bucking the system and it not being in part of the everyday steamship and asking questions. How is it going to change in the future?
So I think the idea is that with a new general manager, that's what they're going to be looking. Who wants to take it? Okay.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you for your constant interest in what we're doing and your helpful suggestions that you've given to me. I would say that Mr. Higgins, another job offer, and was willing to stay if he would be guaranteed the position of general manager when Bob Davis is no longer general manager. I personally and the rest of the board are committed to a global search to find the best possible candidate. It might have been him, and it might have been someone else, but I was not prepared to not do a global search for a possible candidate.
Any others? Any others on general manager? Can we get the mic? Thanks.
Actually, this is twofold. Will this be going on an MVD? Is recorded and being broadcast? Okay, everybody remember to mention your name, your topic, and stay on mic because there's a lot of people who are interested in it who are not here. So remember those rules for production.
Did you say him?
My name, yeah. Oh, John, I got that on purpose. So you, my name is Nikki Patton from Westbury. And one question I have is, where are you going to house some when you do a global search from Arkansas? I just, don't- it's a technical question, but if you find somebody who's really qualified in another state or country, where we put them?
We will work out
No,
when we get there.
That was just the question.
All right. We move on to a new topic. All right. Next topic is website and reservations challenges. Anybody want to speak to that? There are two comments right down here, and then move up.
Abby here to Agrietown again. About the website, I have some questions about that whole development process. Basically, how much has been spent so far? How much do we still owe the contractor? And is there a performance clause in their contract? If so, is it being executed? If not, why the heck not? Thank you.
Okay, so that contract, it's about $2.8 million is the number, I believe. So it's in that region. We're still with the contractor in terms of the system for the next few months anyways. And the website itself, you know, the challenge that we had were to make sure it is robust enough to be able to support when we do general openings and the like. So, and that was the area where we decided is best to put us because we were too close to the upcoming openings. Which part of the question?
So far, is there a performance clause that where the money back if they don't perform?
Not aware of any performance requirement in that contract.
Next, right up. Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead. Name and town.
Oh, right here? Okay. This shows my age. Hello, everyone. My name is Carol. I just turned 80. What? Closer. Okay. I just turned 87 and is 88. Growing old is not sissies, so they say. But having to deal with Mashpee's reservation office adds to the stress. The rules and regulations for all medical appointments can be very complicated and take days to finalize. And then the medical discount doesn't always show. When the reservation office was located at the Martha's Vineyard years ago, questions were answered right away, and you could go out with your tickets in hand. Bring back the Martha's Vineyard Airport location. I can think of one person who would be of great help setting up an office there. Bridget, where are you? Bridget, I know you retired last year, but perhaps you might consider coming back just to organize in-person location or at least recommend qualified vineyarders to take charge. The vineyard deserves its own location.
Thank you very much, Carol. So I have a question. Of course, everybody would Bridget back, but do people agree with what Carol is saying about the reservations? Next question is about reservation challenges.
Susan Damaris from OPS. And I'm speaking personal viewpoint and also from having worked in human services, including hospice for many years. And I'm also speaking about the difficulty on reservations. But I'm getting to it by saying that myself and other people that I know of directly have called the MASH Purgation office and were told either, oh, you have been diagnosed with melanoma, you need to get off tomorrow, there's no both. Could you send me your medical records? That is egregious. And in another case, a friend of mine was up for a funeral and didn't get back for her reservation. She called Mashpee to change her reservation and said, well, could you send us a letter from the funeral director? Now, part of my thought on this, and I've also in my years had experiences with people who have family members dying off island and couldn't off island and couldn't get a boat, excusable. And my other point on this is that the TID agents and the people on the other end of the phone wouldn't be in the position of having to make the decision on this. Why isn't there a supervisor or manager that can be directly accessed very quickly and solve the problem with minimal aggravation and to take the agent out of the middle of it? They have enough to do. And I would guess that they're not paid to accept that level of responsibility. Something needs to change for islanders on the medical situation, family emergencies, and urgent care.
Susan, do others share that view?
So in terms of that, Angela was here. She's our reservation manager. The advisors also work for her. By all means, get her contact information. The supervisor and Angela try to accommodate as much as we can and for these for medical emergencies and like so. Ask you to reach out to Angela.
Thanks.
John, up here.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jill Napier. I'm a West Tisbury resident. And for the Vineyard Steamship guys, I just want to thank you. What I'm about to say isn't in relationship to you, but thank you very much. You're always really kind and you could be helpful. And I just really want you to know that we appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you. So I have one question and then hopefully a suggestion in terms of offering an idea that might be Islander friendly for a change. But one question I have, and it's rather frustrating, I think probably for all of us. We don't understand why Woods Hole makes a decision to black out a day completely for not a same day reservation or not a standby situation. They just decide, no, that doesn't work for us, and we're just kind of left holding ag as islanders. You're the lifeline for get back to homes, our jobs, our families.
So hold on, Jill, before you give your suggestion.
Yes.
Let's just get into that.
So in terms of that, in Allison also, so the agents when they come in the morning, they generally look at what the upcoming reservations are. Be instances where they do block out the space. We're continue to work with the agents to make that space becomes opened up as soon as possible. And Allison, you have anything to add?
Also will come down to the weather. If we know we're going to have bad weather ahead of time, we will shut off the trip day of to make sure we can accommodate those reservations. We'll get displaced weather. But generally speaking, though, the agents and we've been talking with them to make sure that they keep the trips open. So as of lately, probably was past almost a month now, we've seen that there's no trips black because they're not available because they're sold out.
Thank you. So my suggestion would be, if you live on Martha's Vineyard, like you really live on this vineyard, there's some way for you guys to either have that in your system or understand it, whatever. But we're trying to get home and we call up and I have, for example, a reservation on the 7 p.m. And I'm like, oh man, I can make the 5. So I call the steamship and I'm like, hey guys, I can make 5. Can you put me on the 5? And the answer is no, that boat's full. However, when I show up, there's a standby line for that, they've been there and they have a priority to get on if they can't fit me on. But what I'm suggesting is if you hold reservation for that day and you see, okay, Jill Neer has a reservation on the 5, the 7, I think I should be able to take one of those standby spots and then release the 7 p.m. spot to someone else or standby. But it feels like I went out of my way to reservation. I've paid ahead. I can get home earlier bid or whatever it is. And it feels like a disservice when a standby situation maybe takes that before someone who holds a reservation. So I'm just asking you to consider that as a change going for like kind of immediately because it's not rocket science, but it would be probably, do you guys feel that is a good, okay, just 3 of us, but maybe Jill will ask and we'll get a better. Thank you.
Okay, and you may not have been watching today's board meeting, but today at the board meeting, the board did vote to eliminate the requirement that if you get into the blue line, that you give up your reservation. So we made that change earlier today at the board meeting. So.
The reason maybe to answer your question is that those people in standby may also have had residents maybe on the 6 o'clock or the 7 o'clock boat. They may not have just been coming down to come in a standby line. That's usually the case with some of the later boats. And then maybe one of the reasons why they haven't given you a reservation.
Thanks, Joe. Any others about reservations challenges? We got one Doug right there and another in the middle.
My
We've already
name
got
is
the map.
Doug Pease from Oak Bluffs. The refit, the redo of the website has been going on for quite some time, to maybe even 3 years. And I'm curious as to, well, the question is, why isn't it fixed? But my real question is it there exists software that is in use by other services like the Steam Authority that supplier we can clone, and that supplier that could be the basis for the reservation system, as opposed to maybe reinventing the wheel and then have that wheel crash because it can't handle volume.
My name's John Cahill, and I have a technology background, and I've been involved with this process, as you've talked about. What we need to do is fix the core problem, which is the reservation system. And we didn't realize that, so we tried to almost put the cart before the horse. So what we have to go back is put the site off to the side, fix the reservation system, and we are currently under contract to look at and find what we would call the shelf software to accommodate some of the needs and customize some of that software to bring us into 21st century. Because right now we're dealing with software as our primary reservation system that dates back to the 1990s. That's the problem. And that's just, if you need any more input, give me a call.
Thanks a lot.
John?
Reservations challenges.
Hey, I'm Eddie from EC Coddles. First, I'd like to say is my grandfather would be rolling in his grave right now, or is rolling in his grave right now because of the ineffectiveness of the ship authority. One of our complaints is we are a reservation. We get our packets far ahead of everybody else. Our last packet said draft on it, which is kind of insulting because the schedule as it's open, and we're in a lottery system. And I think something should be done for people who get put in the lottery. I get a good pick. The island truckers are trying to get off on the 5:30 boat and the 5:30 one to never run. But I was in the lottery. I got a number one pick. Should have first choice. And if that boat never runs, why is it even on the schedule? You guys move crew that boat every single chance you get to every other boat. Us truckers have that reservations long ahead of any else.
Eddie, I think you're asking on almost the same question as just Jill was at. Do other people think that there should be that priority for people that
We're
have-
in we're a lottery system in a bulk, a little
Understood.
different. So like
Understood.
I got a number, I got the boat of my choice, then it never runs. Something has to be done with the, why in the lottery then? Why do I get number one choice?
Who should talk to?
If I may, so the 5:30 trip, we had the construction going on this past spring, as you may recall, Vineyard, and that's why we didn't have a place to berth the freight boat that would have been running at 5:30. And as we anticipate that that's coming here again, because we have additional that needs to be done in Vineyard Haven.
So hold on, we're not gonna have an argument back and
No, it's
forth.
not an argument.
What we can do is, again, to Bob, who should it be talking to? That's the person.
Well, yeah, no, I talk to the truck department all the time. I've talked, it just
But
seems.
maybe having herds, you
What
guys
about,
could have that
have we thought,
conversation.
we're in a maritime community about mooring the boat outside on a mooring like any other boat would do, and then bring it in when you only have one slip? Because you guys make us pay for this reservation and pay for the lottery, and then you just throw the 5:30 out at any chance.
In order to have a mooring system that would be capable of holding one of our vessels, that being said, in terms of it, that'd be pretty extensive. I think the idea is to try to minimize disruption at the terminal, which is possible in the boats running when we can, but we have to do some work. If it was moored, it wouldn't be at 5:30. It wouldn't be able to leave until the 6 left, and then it'd be pulling in.
So I would really like to move on to accessing amp bases on boats unless there is more fundamentally different trip, and then Mark.
My name's Trip Barnes, Vinhaven. Before we leave, I'm just surprised that nobody in the authority under reservation challenges brings back that trucks do break down too. So a load for clinics or the Stop and Shop shows up and their reservation is gone. The steamship already bends over back to get the thing on because basically they have to. All right. Just one example, but lots of them. Okay. The traffic jam throws it off. So they're dealing with that. And I'm amazed there's not a PR person who can sort that in a can to let people know. It happens every day.
Thank you. Margaret, you're last. Yeah.
Margaret Hanneman, Chilmark. Coming out of an executive and manager in computer companies, I cannot believe that we're sitting in this auditorium talking about logistic issues at this level. There are computer programs that all kinds of companies use for logistics. We are not the only company running both back and forth. My gosh, there are tiny little ferry companies, and there are huge ferry companies, and there's these DHL, and there's the logistics, that's what computers are right now, and there's all kinds of people writing great programs, and we should not be redoing any of this. What we need to do is to get someone who will point us to where there is a company that will do all of this, because this going to continue to be talking in the auditorium, and we don't need any more talking in the auditorium. We need to get people in the seat up there who know how to get the problem solved with software that's there.
Margaret, I agree with you, and the board agrees with you. We have a consultant who's an IT consultant who's working with the board, who started relatively recently. We also have a new IT director in Stephen Coleman who's here. We need to buy off-the-shelf reservation system that will be underneath what this authority does, that is in modern age, and deal with the kinds of things that we deal with on airplanes, that we deal with in all sorts of other areas. In terms of the impact of the website development, I personally was someone who was opposed to getting to that project in the beginning, and my fellow board members knew that. Because a view is on top of the website is our public face, but underneath it is our reservation system. We have to have the reservation system right, or simply having a website that looks pretty with bad information is no good to anybody. So yeah, I do. This is stuff that can be done. Pardon me? I don't disagree with you. People don't disagree with you.
I want to you. I've been waiting.
How you doing? Chris Lyons, West Tisbury. So I think I might be starting on the next line item here, but anybody thought outside the box about boats and how they, I know for a fact that my wife, Ray Almarin, had sent an email out with a petition that was signed by, I believe, over 2,000 people on the island about having an Islanders boat, a boat that leaves in the morning. We get first dibs in it. It would be a standby, but it's Islanders. And then if it didn't fill up, you take the standby from the regular line. 7 a.m. Same thing at 7 p.m. I know it's a little crazy. You may lose some money. I think you would probably make a lot more money, because it would afford Islanders the ability to get off doctor's appointments, get off to truck appointments, off to a million different things. Thanks, John.
You, Chris.
Hello. So in terms of that, the island home, when it leaves Vineyard Haven in the morning, that first trip, it's at least 50%, if more, of it is preferred space that we have on that vessel. And we try to move the trucks onto the earlier freight, try to keep those moving. We have 144 preferred spaces, I think in the summertime, 120 in the shoulder season. We keep looking at those to make sure that we're allocating on trips that need to be allocated, but we'll continue to look at and see if we can make any improvements on it.
I think you made your point, Chris. And one question: have as many on the late in the day as preferred spaces?
It's spread out over the return trips.
So let's move on to that topic. Yes. Sure. So what it was is one boat for Islanders in the morning, one boat for Islanders in the late in the day. How many is up for that? Well, that was a loud bit of work. Yes. About accident. .
Hi, I'm Susan Goldstein. I live in West Tisbury. The failure to anticipate technology dooms many businesses. And I think we need to address why new website and why the reservation system was not anticipated that it needed to be updated 5 years ago. And what do we do now to make sure that the same people are not making the same decisions to wait? Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Now, a different pick that has come up that's on this, accessing empty spaces on boats. People said they see the boat leaving with empty spaces. Are there questions or comments about that? Nick, actually, I can get it right now. So, Nikki Patton,
Thank you. Jonathan Chatton over at Edgartown. It's clear that on a boat, you allocate certain spaces for full paying customers and a number of spaces then for islanders, excursion fares. I think a minimum point, maybe 2 weeks out, you throw that out the window and all the boats are open to, excursion folks, because it's clear that boats are leaving without people on them. People who live here and therefore have excursions are not getting reservations. So you shouldn't be leaving. You shouldn't have boats that are empty. So open up the spaces that are, quote, reserved for paying folks. I'm saying 2 weeks out, but at a certain point, those spaces have to be gone and available to islanders.
So actually, the non-preferred space available for the general public and or islanders that are in the excursion or profile or profiles. So that space is available. The excursion preferred space doesn't become available until days before, or there's some that are held up the day before. So the allocations is something that we recognized that we had an issue in trying to determine what's the allocation on some of these boats to be able to make sure that we're giving the customers the best opportunity to know when their travel needs are.
Okay, I'm going to talk at two at the same time. One is the reservations. Okay, as John's talking about one at a time. Okay, I'm about gaming the system. One of the reasons people are asking a funeral director and a note is, anybody want to say? Because some very bright person has said, I'll just tell them I have a funeral issue. People are gaming this system, which is why people are trying to hack the system. Now, I'm going to talk about a game not a lot of talking about. You can pin your reservation up to an hour before boat leaves. So if I know I'm going off island 2 times this year, I make 20 reservations, and then I decide not to that day, and so I change it pending. I know I'm making it short and sweet. This is a game system. So I've done it to say, not sure I'm going off. Suddenly you have half-empty boat. Now, I don't think it was always the case that there was no charge if you count something or pended something an hour before. If you were to include even a small amount of pending charge, if you change reservation to pending within an hour, 2 hours a day, I think you'd get more spaces on that boat. How many pictures have been posted of boats that are full that I have been able to access for a month that are now half empty? Can you explain that? John's going to yank the mic from me. Can you explain that? Talk about this.
So we do have the issue of reservation being made and then changed at the last minute out to future dates. But we also end up our customers' needs change as well. So in regard to, again, it comes down to what's the appropriate allocation for trips. And some of it is, if a shipper comes with a smaller truck and then free up some space, and it starts the domino effect as we move forward during the day.
Go, Doug. Thank you.
Real quick, also comes into play is the allocations for our trucks. A large gap between our 2, 3, and 4 spaces. And depending on the size of the truck, might be extra space to get on as well. Unfortunately, that does play into effect. So if we have 2 spaces that are short at 20 feet and that go up to 34 feet, get a couple extra cars. So unfortunately, we'll going for the new reservation system, we're going to be looking at going more by the foot as opposed to these blocks of sizes.
Thanks, Allison. Rachel.
Hi, this is Rachel Bauman from Sisbury. My husband just spoke about the petition that forth, and I think it comes to light in this conversation as well, because of course, there's always a domino effect and always going to have empty spaces as things move forward. I think the reason that there's such putback from it is because we're super frustrated with trying to make a reservation, and we don't always know when we need to get off. If there was a commute ferry that left in the morning and came back at night, many idlers wouldn't have to worry about making a reservation, and then the reservations would be available for those who need it or know how to plan ahead. But I think access on and off the island daily without having to make a reservation would be very useful.
Thanks, Rachel. That is the point Chris made. Do other people feel that would be a good thing? I think we made the ask before. Good. Yeah.
Eva here to Edgartown again. I understand what you're talking about, how big trucks go up, it creates a space. This is why we absolutely need your standby so that you can fill those spaces and not leave with no one on them. To eliminate standby is an abomination. Not have standby available to fill these empty spaces is ridiculous. Please.
We're gonna get some.
It should be noted, we're not getting standby for Islander. Standby that we're getting rid of is for the general public. The blue line is intended to be an island-based standby. If you're an excursion or in the preferred program, you have access to the blue line, which is not going to be your standby during these days. Are we jumping ahead here, or I mean, we're going to get back to that.
So the blue line, that term's coined probably 15 years ago, 18 years ago. What it was back in the day when you submitted your profile to be on the excursion program, you were actually given a blue card that showed that you were on the excursion program. When we eliminated that, we determined that, well, we'll call it the blue line because of blue card. That's the designation. It's a standby line islanders is what it is.
And that's gonna.
So right now, because of space limitations at the terminals, the rolling 12 vehicles that can be put into this blue line. When you come in, if you have a reservation for later, you tell the person at the booth that you have a reservation for later, but you'd like to go on the blue line. And up until this morning, if you did that, you had to forfeit your reservation for later on. As of today, the board did vote to eliminate that requirement. So you can go in there if you able to get onto a trip in the meantime before your trip, that's fine. If it comes time that the next boat is your boat, the agents will work on getting your vehicle out of the blue line and in position to board the vessel reserved.
So Bob, are you saying that during construction, all the way through the construction, there will be blue lines stand for islanders?
Correct.
Thanks.
Vacation.
There's because of the physical limitations at the terminals, it's pulling 12. But when there's times, there will be times where the agents are able to accommodate more than that. Where peak times, it's going to be 12.
Clarification. Can I ask for a clarification? If you don't have a reservation, but you have a profile, can you go on the blue line?
Absolutely. As long as you're an island resident and you're in either the
And
excursion.
how will the terminal agent know that when you drive up?
Well, luckily, I think most of our terminal agents and whatnot actually know all you guys because they're practically family with you guys at this point. I know I recognize quite a few faces in here, so.
So are you saying?
May I speak? Mike Line from Edgartown. I think this whole conversation calls to the point of lack of communication and lack of transparency as to what is available for the Islanders. Fact that you guys are kind of struggling to even explain this works. How are we supposed to figure that out?
For starters, it is the website. And what we're going to be doing.
Well, then it needs to be rewritten.
I understand that, but what we're also going to be doing is we're going to be reworking everything and sending out mailers just to everybody and emails. So everybody will have the information on how this program works.
I mean, maybe a little like on the Palmer lot, it gets you in, maybe a nice blue sticker. So it seems like the whole blue line thing is it's who you know, or what mood the ticket agent is in that day.
Because check your profile and make that you're in the program.
Your point is taken, and it really it leads to the next topic.
But may I,
Yeah.
one more thing. I just think there's also a general feeling in the room that more consideration needs to be made for Islander, whether it's this, whether it's a own boat, whether it's better access to ticketing, and maybe you think about the way the airlines do it is start charging for changes. Don't give refunds if people miss their boat. The airlines seem to be able to run at full capacity, right? I don't know why we can't.
I think there's a lot of agreement about that, and also about communications regarding diversions and cancellations. That is a next topic on there. People have. Did others have want to talk empty space? Oh, Nikki. I don't know if we're going to actually explain the whole workings of the steamship. I think they're hearing that it doesn't work for people and that it needs to work for people. Christine?
Hi, Jesse Miriam from Vineyard Haven. My question is, I mean, you made a statement that we know people by face. I know you don't know me. I don't know you. So the assumption that the ticket agent and the people there know who lives here year round is not a valid one. There needs to be a system in place, kind of maybe what they had before, a card or something that someone show we live here year round. And also, I know during the summer, there were times that the blue line wasn't working, or they said there is no blue line. So is there going to be a valid blue line that we can go up to the ticket agent and say, you know, can I get on the standby or the blue line? Not be told that it doesn't exist.
Thank you. I think what the room is saying is that this system doesn't work and it needs to work. That's what I'm hearing. So are we still on empty space on boats? I'm sorry.
So in terms of, when you come into the terminal, if you don't have a reservation, you notify the ticket booth in the parking lot that you're going in to get a reservation, that you're Islander, they'll direct you into the appropriate spot. Then you'll go into ticket office to get your reservation, or use your phone to make a reservation for an open reservation you're on. Now, in terms of the standby, the blue line, we do intend on keeping. It is we're going to be a trial period for 90 days, so that way we can make any modifications to it as we go along to see how we can improve it. So,
Thank you. The next topic is communications about diversion and cancellations. Is that what we talk about, Trip?
Trip lines. I'm the only guy with a truck. I used to have trucks. It's here to, but trucks are the best disruptor there are. But everything in this room and everything in the grocery store and everything on this island got here a truck. Okay? And you bitch and moan if you didn't get your freight, and because you have just limited time to tell it. Plus there's an awful lot of perishable stuff. I'm not gonna go on that, but the old days, file a Rigo, you call up all the truckers, or half a dozen, and say, get down here, I got a half boat. Because the trucks are what causes the problem. And a guy doesn't want to sit there in the standby line with truck. It's killed the cost of the driver and tying up the equipment. Cost fortune.
Yep.
So I think the blue line is good. I think that a lot of us know how to get a car on a boat eventually. Okay. But the trucks are the situation that are very, very, very important to everybody in this room. Thanks.
Thank you. Communication regarding trip cancellations, diversions. Down here, right there. Other hands on that. One up there, Doug. All right.
John.
Got one here, yeah.
Okay, hi, Chris Chamber, Oak Bluffs, regarding communication on cancellations. We know about all the cancellations. OB gets canceled a lot, etc. I fly on every airline a lot, and when you're a preferred status on an airline, you are absolutely getting on that next flight. They're bumping the normal customer. What happens on the boats is typically, right, your next boat's going full, they're not moving people. So maybe for Islanders excursion, if you're on a canceled boat, you need to get priority on the next boat rather than go into the normal.
Next, right there.
Hi.
Hi.
Julianne McNary, Vineyard Haven. So
What is Julianne?
So I have my here and since October 1st, there have been 72 emails about cancellations and diversion since October 1st. I commute 3 days a week, Boston. I get up 4 o'clock in the morning. I get on the 6 a.m. boat, and then I back on the 6 p.m. boat. I get treated unbelievably well by the extraordinary staff on boats, on the ground. But I'm stunned that I have emails here. I fly all over the country. I travel on business, American Airlines, Million Miler. I've never seen this level of dysfunction, boats being canceled and boats being diverted and boats being whatever. I just don't understand how there's got to be a breaking point.
Julianne, yeah. So do you want to talk about number of cancellations there?
So let's talk about diversions first. So our crews would prefer going in Oak Bluffs is because of the weather conditions. It's not safe for us to be going in there. It typically happens, if you look back over the years, it typically happens more often in September and October when the weather changes and the tide it's coming out of the east, which indicates that these 2 years. Now for cancellations, again, the cancellations.
Chris, can you put up my screen, please?
So while that's taking place, as for cancellation, the notice for those our crews, the engineers, terminal workers, try to get that weight as possible to try to make sure that trip, if it can run, and it's only at the when all else failed that they end up keeping a trip. So they will run late if possible, but sometimes it gets to the point where they're so far out of position that they have to cancel the trip. So this is the versions over the past 10 years, excluding 2020. And you'll see September and October is where it predominantly happens. We'll point out that even those diversions in Oak Bluffs, there's about almost a 20% increase in the number of trips that run into Oak Bluffs now compared to 2015. So,
and then weren't you about cancellations? No, I think your point, I wanted to ask if you would address cancellations as well as diversions.
I was talking about in terms of the crews, the engineers and the terminal workers will want to hold that boat long as possible to see if it can be rectified before the trip gets canceled. So and that's why in some regards, some of these trips are canceled or around the time that they're scheduled to sail or even after. People understand the importance of running these trips for everyone. And they do their best to try to do it, but on occasion, something that whether it's a part that is needed or a Coast Guard inspection has to be done in order to verify that the work has taken place. So
Anything? Yeah, he's working on that. So who do we with a mic?
So I want to ask something here. Mike Long out of Oak Bluffs. Few of you know me. So I know I've been down at that boat probably a lot more than quite a few of you in this room. And I have talked to most of the captains, most pilots, the agents and everything else. Most of them have all said the same thing over the years. When it comes to rougher weather, not horrific weather, we'll run, but don't dare because upper management doesn't back us if something happens. How do you respond to that as the head of the agency, essentially? You're the one that's supposed to be backing your crew when something goes wrong, and it seems like you don't. What's that?
So that can't be more. I do support our crews, the decisions that they make. They make it in consultation with the port captain and director of marine operations. And we support the decision. They're the ones who know their boats. They're the ones who know their crew. They're the ones who know the weather conditions. And we support the decision. If they're going to be canceling, they'll be canceling. I don't know where the perception is that we're not supporting them. We support them in those decisions.
So yes.
You go.
I thought.
You go ahead.
Okay, so I got stuck for Chris Keen, Oak Bluffs. I got stuck in September after someone from the Steamship Authority called my father, who's 88, and him to call me and tell me to hurry down to the boat because I was not home. And then I had an 8:30 boat, and you better get there by 5. Well, I'm in Stin. It took 3 hours. I could not make it. They ran every boat until the 7:80, which I could have made, and they basically decided to cancel. Then it was not widely discussed that my boat was canceled at the gate. So there's no communication there. And then the boats just canceled, and they tell everybody that was in standby trying to get on that earlier boat had been told to hurry down. I was told no one would ever tell any to rush down here. Well, that's a lie. Then I was stuck in a financial situation where I can't go to the hotels who are getting payday. I can charge $350 to get people day overnight. And so I said, well, can I, sleep in my car here? Because you used to be able to do that. No, you need to go sleep in the park at Walmart. I was by myself. And that message from the steamship and the sheet with all of the hotels was missing their 3 or 2 of the last 4 digits of the phone number. So not even a way to call them all. So it's very
I
great.
want to just ask a question. I want to ask a question. That's a specific situation and trouble that you had. Have other people in the room had similar situations like that? Some. Yeah.
Just can't tell people also to hurry. I mean, the emotional problem. I'm the primary caregiver, and he was upset for days because I couldn't get home.
It's totally unacceptable.
But you can't tell someone to go sleep in the parking lot either of Walmart if they can't afford the
Thank you
hotel.
very, thanks a lot. Agreed. Larkin.
Hey, Larkin Stallings, live in Vineyard Haven and work in Oak Bluffs. This is really from the Oak Association as well. And I got this, I have the 7 emails also about diversion cancellations, and I appreciate that, knowing what's going on. But I want to let you know, just a comment, and make sure that you understand that every diversion, every cancel actually costs those of us who make our living here on your, particularly in the hospitality tourist industry or retail. That every cancellation, every diversion actually affects us in a significant way. I've got an email from one of our members who has noticed, or not noticed, who has record 30% decline on every day that there is a cancellation or a diversion out of Oak Bluffs. And I understand Bluffs is a difficult one because of the fact that we aren't weather protected like Vineyard is. But I just want to make it clear to you all and have you hear that every time you cancel, every time you divert a boat, it's costing real people real money, whose livelihoods are on the line. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Larkin.
Here again, one quick question. Sorry.
Where are we? Okay.
So
To address the man right there, so I don't know if anybody knows me. I'm Paul Hennessy. I'm the captain, and I've been working here for 34 years. I've been a rostered captain for 20. I could talk to the kids up there. We want to go to Oak Bluffs. Oak Bluffs, to dock the boat, is a lot better than New Haven. There's no warning for we want to go to Oak Bluffs. It's a lot easier to dock the boat. There's no field. And when the easterly wind comes, then it comes to a safety issue. We worry about the passengers, right? We don't want people to get hurt. If the boat's rocking up and down, people can fall. That's a decision we have to make. We make a decision with the agents. If it's too rough, we divert. All about safety. Hope you understand that.
Thank you. Does anybody who hasn't spoken to this issue or have, yes, have any questions about communications about diversions and cancellations? And right there.
Hey, Christina Colarusso, Tisbury. We kind of breezed over cancellations and we just focused on diversions for a little bit. And I wonder if we could pull up those slides, specifically when it's a cruise ship or mechanical short cancellation.
This is working. Christina, while they're pulling up those slides, you should know the latest numbers for year to date. Mechanical cancellations at the Steamship Authority were 0.57%. So that's half of 1%. I look at the cancellation rates of trips for weather. I'm talking for weather in Bay State, in Washington State, and also in Staten Island. And they aim for cancellations of less than 5%. So our mechanical cancellations are, I think, in good shape. The concerns that we've had and we've seen this year in terms of crew shortage cancellations are problematic for all of us. And the other issue that we have, of course, is weather, which we live with. And in Larkin, we absolutely know what's going on in terms of the impact on the Bluffs community. I have been and has been down when weather been an issue. Looked at it. We've talked to the agent for the Oak Bluffs, and occasionally we've been able to get the thing open again. But we're very, very aware. The ship is very aware of that, as are your representatives.
While that's happening, did anybody want to talk about crew shortages? And who's going to talk about numbers?
I don't want to talk about crew shortages. Doug just gave me the mic, and
you should,
I want
you should identify yourself and talk about crew shortages.
I'm down here. Rich Weiss, Oak Bluffs. So relative to the diversion in OB, does this Mr. Malkin said you guys are aware of the problem with diversions and stuff in OB. and I'd ask you, but that's great that you're aware of it, you're doing about it. So my thing is that does the ship feel like they need to talk to the town, Army Corps, or something about maybe doing a quarter or something along those, because frankly, as citizens standing here and talking about it, we're not going to get anywhere. Where we need to go work and do what we need to do. But the thing is, you try to go to meetings within the town of Oaks, talk to the town administrator, talk to officials there, and it goes nowhere. You guys got the juice. You guys could go and talk to environmental people or EPA or whatever to get it done. So all I'm saying is that when somebody says to you, diversions are a problem, and you say you're aware of it, it would be helpful if you said what you're doing about it.
Certainly, let me answer that. If yes, we're aware of it. Joe Salo, myself, Steamship Board, has talked with the town of Oak Bluffs about the need going forward with increasing tides, water levels, and increasing storm surge. What has to be done to deal with a harbor that is the northeast, which is where our weather comes from. So that's not done in terms of what needs to be. It's going to require the Army Corps of Engineers. It's going to require significant grant money. But yes, discussions are ongoing.
Thank you. Crew shortages, workforce.
We'll post the entirety of the slides on our website, even the ones we don't. Well, we were asked not to give a presentation. It's not giving a presentation, but all of the slides will be up on the website tomorrow, probably.
So they're making them available. We wanted to give as much time as possible for people to talk. You next.
Julie Johnson, West Tisbury. I think that the people who work on the boat should more money instead of building more buildings.
That is apparently a very popular statement. Where's the next mic? Do you want to respond, Bob? Or somebody?
Alan Briggish, West Tisbury. Does the ongoing contract to disrupt ferry service, and does this have a significant impact on residents of Martha's Vineyard? I have been told by a member of the Steamship Authority, working member, that part of the negotiation is we'll just call in sick and we'll disrupt. And nobody talks about that. But I've been told that it is a fact that it actually happens. And now I've noticed that crew shortages have actually decreased significantly since the summer. But I just wonder about this. Why would somebody who works there actually make a statement like that if it weren't partially true?
So I won't get into any specifics. We are negotiating with the vessel employees as well as other groups, and we'll leave that at the negotiating table. We appreciate all the hard work all of our employees do, whether they're on the water or on the shore side, and we will need to work with getting a contract done.
Other comments about crew shortages? Bob Johnson, right here. Right here.
Warner, West Tisbury. I already had.
Yeah.
I just want to say I didn't realize that the contract negotiations were not done, and I didn't realize that I haven't met with them since August, and that seems. And it seems to me that if we're having trouble attracting people, which I understand is a problem across the ferry systems of the United States, but we're not track people if we can't work through these negotiations and support our crews. So
And are you
please,
asking why haven't they
I
met?
would like to know when you're going to get to the table and finish this up with them.
So I believe for one of the vessel groups that there's a set scheduled for is at the end of this week, begin next Friday. So again, we'll continue to work to resolve our differences.
Yes, Bob Johnson right there.
Yes, I'm
Crew
Bob
shortage.
Johnson and from West Tisbury. And I'm building on the earlier comment about the crew shortage and what the source of that crew shortage was. And it's a critical topic that didn't make the agenda. And that's the Steamship Authority organizational culture. I was a wonderful event here in the Film Center 18 months ago called Ferries Now. And it was created a lot of hoopla at the time. And it's where I think the first strategy for the Steam Authority launched. And it offered great promise and hope. I'm starting to feel that a little bit now here that there's great fanfare about the possibility of a new general manager make things somehow different within this organization's culture. And my specific question, and it's not related specific to Bob, but you've got a global search for a new general manager, and things are going to be dramatically different with respect to team building and other things within this same culture. And you got a general manager, the old general manager doesn't matter who it was or is, that's going to be around for 18 months.
I'm confused, Bob. What is the question?
The question is, how is that new general manager going to make a difference with the old general manager around for 18 months?
It's a fair question. And one of the things that you have to understand, our current general manager will be out of the general manager position and will be in a role reporting to the board that will be decided what he will do. The new general manager will be responsible for operating the Steamship Authority. And culture starts with management, senior management.
Stephen Arujo. I'm dumbfounded how you guys can feel like you get caught pants down when this item has brought up about captains retiring, captains leaving, captains getting older. All your captains were, 5 or 6 captains were the same age. This has been brought up at different meetings. I brought it up specifically, and the word to me were, "Don't worry about it. We got it under control. Doesn't look like you had it under control. Can you tell me what's going to happen now?"
So one of the things that we're doing these past few years has been to work with our crew in terms of getting them training, keeping where we used to lay people off in the wintertime, we're keeping them on so that way we get people off for training to whether they become an OS to S2B, whether they go from an AE to a pilot to a captain. So we recognize that we need to be investing in our employees. We do that through the training programs that we're running, and provide them with the opportunity to succeed. And if they want to move, we're giving them the opportunity to do so.
Thanks. And thanks. Anybody else about?
Yes,
crew
here,
shortage?
John.
Okay.
Can I just, sorry, Mary Westisbury. Can we go back to that chart that you had pulled up with cancellations?
Do you have a comment about it?
I have a question
While-
in
comment- while-
regards to what is traffic and schedule cancellation? Those numbers represent a 4.01%, and I'd like some clarification.
Okay, so traffic is that, and it's predominantly a freight boat. At the end of the day, if there is opportunity to consolidate the load with one of the bigger boats, we'll tie the freight boat up and consolidate it. The schedule is the original approved operating budget had 5 vessels running in the summertime on this route. Earlier in the year, we determined, looking at our staffing levels, realized that we weren't going to be able to do that. So we changed. That's why Woods Hole this summer you actually had the same amount, basically the same amount of space Monday through Friday, and then on the weekend you actually had more space with the Woods Hole. But that schedule figure is represents the change in up the sanctity for the summer.
So essentially, boats are pulled out of regular scheduled.
Yeah, this is
slots.
based on the original approved budget, which was basically approved operating schedules.
So with those being pulled, are leaving that vehicles and trucks in the parking lot.
So on the run, it was the Sankaty, which ran 3 trips a day, Monday through Friday. That was changed on the bid schedule, and in lieu of that, we replaced the Governor, the Woods Hole, which has higher vehicle capacity during that period. So vehicles wise, it was a comparable move. It was four boats versus 5 boats.
Matt, did you get your answer? Which is the question come up before, yeah. So on to terminal construction and repair disruption. Are you on cruise ships? Yeah, who has not spoken that has their hand up? Okay, thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Fred Cunningham from Edgartown. With all due respect to everybody here. Fred Edgartown.
Good.
So I've been coming to these get-togethers for a decade. There was one in Vineyard Haven 8 years ago. There was one at the Falmouth School, I believe, many years ago. And it just is a replay, and it's a replay, and it's a replay. About a half a dozen years ago, because I was concerned, I got together with Bob and a couple of his people at the Steamship Authority, and we had to talk about other things we might do to help things get better. None of that was acted on, but since I was still curious, I looked into a few things. The gear system we're talking about, if I remember correctly, is an ASR 400, I believe, from the 1990s. Sound about right? And there's nobody left alive that could program it. That's what I was. Okay. So it's been a long, arduous task. Other things like that kind of showed up for me to look at. So I started wondering, well, where's the oversight? Because these people are at their wits' end trying to figure out if anything they could do. So I looked at well, I can't find anything about the board. There's no information on any board member. I don't know where they worked. I don't know where their education was. I don't know anything. I did some investigation. I think it was a divorce lawyer, if I'm not mistaken. Another realtor. I can't remember. But anyway, we need oversight and whatever done by whoever is in those chairs. And I hear Mr. Malcolm that the former to be general manager reporting to the board. The board had these people reporting for decades. And they've got to see the situation. The board has no oversight. And they've taken it upon themselves to review themselves as a board. What I've been on several boards, and what's really done every decade or so is a board hires a firm, kind of like you do with the study you did about the whole Steamship Authority, to evaluate the boards, et cetera. And recommendations made as to how subcommittees, board members can get more and more involved in things. They really understand the issues at the proper level, and can then report back to the whole board. there's nothing done here, and then these people won't, I don't know who they are, but they won't have themselves reviewed as to how to be a better board. So then I look at the appointing authorities. With all due respect, I appreciate what you're doing, but these people don't know who these people are. Now we got a board who doesn't know why they're there, what they're doing. They're going to hire a new general manager globally, wonderful, who's going to be well versed in marine activities. We got business problems here. We got customer service problems here. We got administrative problems here. We need a business person come in here and run a company that happens to run Steve's. And if we don't that, we'll be back here again for the next 5, 10, 20 years, talk about the same damn things.
It's well taken. Thank you.
If I may, I don't know where to start. Let me unpack some of what you just said. We have in Martha's Vineyard 35% of the. Nantucket has 35% of the vote. You've been on other boards. Hyannis has 10%. New Bedford has 10%. Falmouth has 10%. You have to do, as Lenny J has always told, count the votes. Okay. Each of the 5 board members serve a different community. And whether we on the Vineyard like it or not, and whether I on the Vineyard have sling with this for 4.5 years or not, each of the communities has different expectations and desires and level of comfort with this quo. Our 35% that I have antagonized people, that I have argued with, that I have advocated with, still only adds up to 35%. That's the reality. It's the way the Enabling Act is structured. And what I've tried to do 4.5 years, and in terms of business experience, just to answer that one, I've been general manager globally. I've run transportation company for 18 years. On other companies, as I've been on a number of boards. So I'm happy to put that resume in front of you anytime you want to talk about it. Our other board members do not have the same kind of experience and have different views and serve different communities. What I've tried for 4.5 years is to get the board to understand the issues that we face in Martha's Vineyard, and frankly, the expectations we have of Martha's Vineyard were different than the expectations that are held in Nantucket and held in Hyannis and they're held in New Bedford. And the only way we get the rest of the board to come around is to give facts we're talking about here and express the issues we're facing and work with them to make changes. And that's the way it works.
Oh, just a sec, please. May I just
Hold
respond? Jim, thank you. And I've heard exactly what you're saying. Many people I respect that you get it, trying to fix it. And that's kind of why I went where I went. You can't sit. You've only got 35% of the vote. That's why you need to have the whole evaluated by a professional company that does evaluation of boards. They will bring that back to the board that it's ineffective, it's not working. They may then help you be able to go wherever you got to go to get the policy rewritten. So we have different responsibility by different board members because the way it is, it's not working and it's not going to work. With all due respect.
Thank you.
John, if I may, we have a bunch of people attending by Zoom. Can John just tell us how many additional people are? Okay, don't bother. But, okay. One of my specific questions would be, are other board members besides Jim listening to this? Okay.
So I have a concern, and is with the board. I have full respect and confidence in our representation. I know Jim's been working hard to forge alliances with other board members. The concern that I have is I feel the board, majority of the board, does not look at this organization as a whole. We are paying the financial cost of running this organization. Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket are the highest users of this service, and then Hyannis, I suppose, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But to me, the board is there to represent the functioning and success and forward direction of this organization as a whole, and not how it affects any specific town. I know Jim is appointed as our Martha's Vineyard rep, but he's also looking at overall organization and what can be done to improve the services in general for all the towns, all the ports. And I feel that is lacking with the majority of the board members who sway the vote, not in action. Martha's Vineyard. I just wanted to say it.
So you will look at suggestions. I'll quote 3 suggestions. Hello. The 3 suggestions I would succinctly try and close with is, one is I think that we should give a thumbs up if we want to have the board have itself viewed by professional board review organization to tell them where the deficiencies are, what they may need to do different, and how they might go about doing that.
Is that a thing to people? Board would have to approve that.
Yeah, that's like term limits in Washington, right? Ain't gonna happen, okay? The second suggestion is I would rethink the goal of hiring somebody who's focused on maritime. I really think we need somebody who's how to run a business. The third suggestion, and I made this about 5 years ago, you need a vice president of customer, a vice president of customer experience. The whole job is to walk around and see how the customer's feeling, take the temperature, see experiences, et cetera, et cetera. That person has to have some weight and have some authority and not be totally rejected. That's what we,
Thank
yeah,
you.
Bridget.
Thank you. Those are great suggestions. We are on the topic still of crew shortages. Ready to move on? Okay.
Do you have any plans for, have you been thinking about the future? Like, what are you guys actively doing to attract more? You talk about moving people up in the ranks. That is great. But have you, I'm sure you have to be talking to Mass Maritime, I hope. Sponsorships, anything?
So in terms of recruitment, Joe Ross attends all the career fairs at Mass Maritime, Maine Maritime, SUNY. He was gone out to Cal Maritime and Texas A&M. Texas A&M and his maritime academies. So we've been active recruiting from those ranks. This past month we had 6 or 7 Mass Maritime and another 4 from Maine Maritime that are working for us over the summertime. And you know, we need to try to as cadets, and we're trying to develop that pipeline to be able to let them realize that they don't have to go out to deep sea, that there's opportunities here. In addition to that, Janice and the group goes to nearly 20 different schools, tech schools and the like, trying to recruit students, because it's not just on the vessel side we need people that are going to be able to work in that parking lots, our terminals, and our mates and group. So we continually work on that. We did have a couple cadets from Cal Maritime 2 years ago, I guess it was. We had 4 that were interested this past summer, but we couldn't find housing for them. So it's a challenge. So
I just wanted to say we was a steamship budget presentation done not long ago here on the island where 20 some people attended. And one of the suggestions made at that time was increasing recruitment here on the island. That we have people that live here who have housing here, and why not? I mean, we have an extremely substantial scholarship fund every year for graduating students. Why is the Steamship Authority not participating in this? Recruit student from Martha's Vineyard to train to work the steamship.
well, actually, we did this past year. We did send people to that. Unfortunately, because of the weather conditions, it ended up being the terminal people. But
that a diversion?
that came. So there's one of the schools that we look at, this thing on the Nantucket that we try to see if there's opportunity there to get an employee. So we've been trying to turn over every stone that we can.
So
This is something I get excited about. One of the things. We need to work with ASMV. We need to work with the high school. We need to look at vocational training, and we need to create a pathway for people from the Vineyard to go to the Steamship Authority. And there are preliminary discussions about. And one other thing that you should know about is that we've worked with the Martha's Vineyard Commission, and I'm looking and hoping to present more to the board, a way to use some of the land that we have to workforce housing in Falmouth, or area of land, and so we can bring people in and give them a place to live. Thank you.
So I have a question again, Mike
Where
Lyons
are we?
from OBN. When are we looking at getting the fifth boat back and having enough crew to man it all, so the crews we have can get vacations and whatever, and not be still like every other industry?
will you
That's
stand
what
up?
next.
I don't even know where you're coming from. Will you stand up?
Can you see me now?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Good.
Good.
Glad. So do we have any ETA on when you could man 5 boats and, not the crews ragged during the summer, bouncing boats and everything else, or is it just still up in the air?
The operating is scheduled approved for the 2020-25 season, has a 4-boat schedule on the Vineyard.
And I asked the 5th, not the 4th.
Yeah, once we get to a point where we feel we have a sufficient amount of crews, we'd be looking at that.
Yes, and I asked roughly when do you think that is? Some of us have businesses and would like to be able to plan to grow a little bit. No 5th boat really.
So let's take it easy. You asked a question about when's the 5th. Can you?
He didn't answer it.
I'm asking him to answer this.
Again, it's going to be a matter of.
That's definitive. I just asked for an ETA. What do you think? 2027, 30, 2050?
Again,
rough.
we've been to try to.
So let's just go on to the next topic. We don't need an argument between two of you. So the next topic is terminal construction and repair disruptions. Does anybody have a comment or question about that? Rachel, do you have a question about that?
I can throw a question in about that. I have a lot of suggestions to actually offer for some of the topics that we've talked about.
So
'cause-
we can do that at the end.
Okay.
We're going to come back to those
That's
kinds of
fine.
topics.
Then I would like to ask about the construction is why are we doing it? Why is it necessary? It seems to me that there's a lot of our infrastructure issues and tech issues and crew issues where this money better spent. And I'm sure that there's a contract that we fulfilled, but at this point, it's mismanaged money.
So let's not presuppose. So can anybody answer in a brief way, why is that terminal necessary?
Okay, so the Woods Hole terminal reconstruction was overdue. Physically, the fendering system was literally falling into the water. We had sand sheet pile upon sheet pile in order to make sure that the bulkhead stayed. So we needed to redo the bulkhead. And then to accomplish that, we had to take down the administration building. That also housed the ticket office. The ticket office that's currently there is a temporary ticket office. It was not designed for hurricane. We got a variance. It wasn't designed for flood zone. It wasn't designed for hurricane proof. And the term building has been awarded. They're working on the utility building, and in the coming weeks, they'll be setting the foundation for the new building. So we have a time to be able to occupy the current terminal building.
Further questions about disruptions during construction. It's there with the mic.
Well, actually, the topic was terminal
Terminal
construction and repair issues. We spent a long time talking about not having crew and not being able to run boats because we don't have crew.
people not being able to grow their businesses because we don't have crew. But we seem to always be able to make the money available for change orders and for building. By the way, the temporary terminal building, I understand we got variance for, but we can certainly get another. We don't need that right now. What we need right now is crew. And if crew had actually gone 116 days without contract and 500 days without a raise. Mr. Davis, did you have a raise in 500 days?
So
Honestly.
Margaret, this is not about
No,
personal
no,
confrontation.
I
between
am
the two of you.
confronting.
Oh,
I'm
no, it
asking a
really isn't.
question.
So I hear the question but I understand people feel that in the room, but the point is made.
No, I
Really
think it
has.
has been.
All right.
I don't think
What's the new point?
Can you ask how many people think the point has been made?
Well, we don't know what the point is. We
The
tell us
point is talking about how much we're spending for construction versus crew salary. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, so construction doesn't come out of the operating funds. Those come out of the capital improvement fund. So that wouldn't, those are not funds that are available for operating expenses. So it's a different bucket to speak, whether part of the project has been bonded and the other part has been.
If I may, I became a board member 4.5 years ago. First thing, by the way, and that was in the start of 2020. I became a board member at the start of COVID. And the first meeting I had with Bob Davis was in March of 2020. And we went down and I basically said, I don't think we should be spending money on buildings. I think we should be spending on boats. And we looked at the build and we looked at what was planned. And we look at making the building small. And I went to a board meeting and the board told me, one, the project had started 9 years ago. It had been stopped when two of the board members wanted the cost reevaluated. The costs were reevaluated by an outside, and the report came back, satisfied those two board members. The costs were appropriate, and the process continued. And the process was supported by the board member as well as the board member who preceded me to build this terminal. I still would prefer that we are doing it, but to Bob's point, accurate, the funding of the Steamship Authority works. This is a capital, it's not an operating cost. And the horse, fortunately, is out of the on this one, and it's 13 years. And one other point I'd make that I just found out about, the square footage of the new building is about the same square footage in our Vineyard Haven terminal. And those of you who have been here for quite a while, may recall when we built the Vineyard Haven terminal, we had quite a controversy as well about the size of that building. So I'm not in favor of the terminal particularly. The board has voted it in. It's been 13 years in the making. And I agree that we need to put our money behind boats and behind our crews and on our operating schedule. That's facts. I can't sugarcoat them.
Thanks, Jim. So really the topic was about disruptions during the terminal constructions. And that's a question. Do people have comments about that? Can we get a mic right there?
I've got a mic.
Who's that? Raise your hand.
Hi,
Okay.
Chris Sykes, Bluffs. And to your point, yes, absolutely. The the flips, they needed to be redone. There's no doubt about that. So it was a good thing. But this is, and I realize, as you saw, horses out of the barn. But what you're gonna do with what you have right now is what you need. It may not look, but you need staging area, and you're gonna totally destroy that with this built right in the middle of that. I've had conversations with the agents there. I know have expressed their concerns, and basically, we're told I'm not saying specifically they were told, don't worry about it, but they're concerned, it wasn't paid attention to.
If I may, I agree with what you said. I spent a lot of time with the agents in both ends. The only thing I'm going to tell you that may be germane to, maybe relevant to your saying is the original terminal location before the whole thing started, I am told, was much further back in the area. And the Falmouth board member at the time, with the Vineyard board member at the time, made a motion that was carried to move the terminal building up to where it is currently located. Now we worked with the agents recently, and we moved it back from 18 feet. I will have concern, but basically, that's where we are. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I just wanted to tell you everything else.
Hi, Lynn McKenzie from town of Tisbury. So the disruption to me is mostly going to affect what you're saying, the blue line. So spaces doesn't seem like it's quite like adequate enough, especially during certain periods of time where there's high travel, holidays, and not vacations. So I think you need to think outside the box that besides the 12 that are there in the Woods Hole area, there needs to be like a number system, like you can people a number saying, hey, you're first in line, come back at this time. So people aren't circling, Woods Hole, that they can actually have a plan. So, all right, if I can't get on the boat for 2 hours, I can go errand or whatnot. But 12 spaces during construction time for the blue lines not seem like it's adequate enough to serve the needs of the islanders.
Thank you. Bob, can you respond to that?
In terms of that, with the design of the building and the construction area, we're looking at that there's about a little over staging area for a little over 2 trips at a time. So that's why we're looking to try to manage that activity with people to be heading down on circling around in the neighborhood. We need to be good neighbors as well down there. So as the terminal progress construction proceeds, there'll be an opportunity to open up a space. It's a rolling 12. We are also looking at whether if there is any service disruption using our Palmer Ave lot as a staging area for football, and then having them giving them a ticket to say, here, you go down and then present this and you can get in line.
Unfortunately, it's going to be more probably a boat and a half, especially with the trucks. Trucks take up a little bit more real estate than two. So it's going to be a growing pains for the terminal, trying to figure out how to line up the most efficient way to get just amount on the property, because they're going to be working in a live construction zone.
So I have another question real quick.
Hold on a second. So a couple of things. It's clear that the terminal's going to get built, and there is an opportunity apparently to make a difference in terms of the disruption. And I think what I heard from Holly's question is that there is going to be a ticket system so that you don't have to roam around if you're one of the 12, if you're not one of the 12 cars, that you're going to line people up at Palm. Is that what you're saying?
So during times, if we as we move along in the progress for this, we're looking at if there's a need to be able to stage vehicles down at the Palmer Ave lot and have them come down as when it's the designated time to be able to do.
Right. I think what I hear people saying is that there needs to be unlimited blue line, and they need to be staged somewhere. Is that what you're saying?
So whether the additional blue lines is that Palmer Ave, that would be an option.
I think that's what people are asking for. Susie, is this about disruption? So, Mike, thanks, Doug.
Okay, Susan Goldstein, West Tisby. What we're talking about though is, and I'm a Luddite when it comes to the computer, but I don't see a technology being referred to. Why isn't there a way contacting people go on the blue line? What was said about rolling around, if Falmouth, Woods is concerned about traffic, when you go on the blue line and you 12 people have maxed out, you just keep going around and around in circles for an hour, each time reporting back because you want to be number 13, and then the 12th person has come in there. Where's technology and where is looking ahead to maximize all of this technology which already exists and using it?
Are you talking about doing it the way a restaurant would? You have a mic?
Yeah.
Something to say.
So I'm curious, as a truck driver who at times drives a 70+ foot truck who might be considered pretty decent at it. You get a lot of the over the guys down there. You're going to put your terminal directly in the middle of it and expect these guys to back onto your brand back on boats. And you're complaining about the turnaround and the back on times now. My question is, why are we putting the terminal in the middle of the parking lot, not where the terminal is now, but side of it at the back of the reservation lines, standby lines now by the bridge to go to the Witzel parking lot? Why is it going
Can we have an
middle
answer
by
to
the
that?
slips?
We hear the question. Can we an answer?
As Mr. Malcolm pointed out, that originally what the staff had proposed, the terminal building along Railroad Ave. At the time that the Falmouth member had issues with that, the distance between near ellipse, the Vineyard board member agreed, and so the board voted to have us go back and revisit the site. We did go back. We're concerned about storm rise, flood zone, and when we had the study done by the Woods Hole group as to what the flood zone is, the site of where the terminal is actually that in the employee lot of above would be the last place that would be flooding. So that's where it was determined. We did do traffic studies in terms of the turning radiuses. We did have the proof of concept where we put up cones and Jersey barriers, but as Jim pointed out, once that was looked at, we did end up pushing the terminal back towards the bridge, and then just a 15 to 16 feet.
Thank you. So we have 10 minutes left, and there are probably issues that haven't been covered at all that people would like to talk about. You have such an issue, raise your hand, and when you get the mic, say, I want to talk about X. Party? It can be that. Only have 10 minutes left, so you can talk about fare and rate increases, which is the one you didn't get to. So who would like to speak of fare and rate increases or any other topic? Got one right here, Doug. Rachel, we told Rachel that she could get to her issue at the end, so she could be next.
Rich Weiss, OB. Relative to fare increases so that you can pay your crews more money so that you maintain boats so that you can do all the things that you need to do. Is there sort of rule or law or bylaw or something that says that all increases have to affect residents and as well as transients? So for instance, I'm not upset if the guy from Jersey's who's been here for two weeks is pay $700 to his Range Rover. No offense to anybody Range Rovers, but I'm just saying I don't have a lot of sympathy for that. My question is the steamship looking into being a little more selective with these rate increases than what has happened in the past?
I think you may or may not be aware that the rate increase for excursion holders, islanders, is not the rate. The rate's going to increase, and they have not increased since 2021 for island residents. Now, What you also need to know is that when somebody gave it, was it 6 years ago? Where the cost of the island ticket, the island residence ticket covered 62% of the cost. Okay. It is now, because we've gone a bunch of years without passing on a cost increase to islanders, it's now 32% of the cost. So the trucks and non-residents are carrying the load of the increased cost for payroll, for better boat maintenance, so on and so forth. What leads me to worry, we talked about this at the meeting, about going down the road to ultimately where the islanders, including myself and everybody else who buys their own tickets, are going to be looking at kind of a fare structure can we create that not only is equitable, but helps us deal with the fact that we have more people coming to this island who become excursion holders, and fewer people who are coming over as regular travelers. And that's going to be an issue that we're going to have to live through this year as we come into next year. But for this year, the board voted today, there is no increase wonders.
Rachel,
yeah.
before you talk, we have 5 minutes. There are probably people that want to say more. Short, brief comments from everybody, please.
I'll try to keep it
One issue.
brief. Well, I had a few things I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to talk about the rate increase thing. If I could wrap it, I will do that. First of all, in the meeting that we have with the financial people, we had a very, very good conversation about all of this. A concern about rate increases is that it's going to reduce the amount of visitors, which is impact business. So I wonder if this is the right time for rate increases. Of course, we're paying our crew. The other thing I would suggest was that text message alerts for diver boat from Bluffs Vineyard Haven. So if you can get an opportunity to sign up for alerts, that would be really helpful. And also, I was curious if there are going to be any slips to be closed during the construction of the new terminal.
Thank you. And
So looking backwards, in Vineyard Haven, we do have some construction that we're going to be taking place over the winter time. One project is we're replacing the transfer bridge in the gallows. So a slip, it's going to take about a week for that work to be done. So we'll be down during that time period. There's also some decking issues that we have to do at Vineyard Haven. But we anticipate for a good portion of the winter season that Vineyard Haven will close. As for Woods Hole, the construction, the slips have all been completed in a couple of years now. So there's no construction budget in the slips in Woods Hole.
Doug has a comment.
Quick,
Doug,
two quick
one of the county
suggestions.
commissioners, and then Christine needs a few minutes to close it out.
Two quick suggestions regarding the blue line. Everybody here dumps their trash at a transfer station and needs a sticker on their car to identify them by themselves as residents. A blue sticker on an excursion radar would go a long way to identifying us, so the ticket agents don't have to memorize our faces. And the other is what's mentioned before. Restaurants hand out pagers all the time for people waiting for their food. You could do the same thing with the over on the blue line. Obviously, range and technology have to be considered, but that's another approach. You could possibly use tech. I'm not sure whether that's a good idea.
So a number of suggestions made, and what's clear, what I'm hearing is that people really need this unlimited blue line during this construction period.
So for our Nantucket run, we do have a ability, because the frequency of the number of trips go to Nantucket, that if you're coming to standby, you can name on the list, you give your number, and we'll text you. So that's something we can look into to be doing here for the blue line as well also.
There was a gentleman over here, I believe, with his hand up and then went up in the dark corner up there. That I think it's important to recognize you too, and then close this out. Thank you.
Hi, Louis DeJoe from West Hisbury. I'd like to ask if you're working toward future-proofing the authority. Are you putting electric drives into the new ferries so that we eventually transition to battery power? We can go there. Are you standardizing vessels to reduce training, for example, using all the same kind of diesel engines? And has the maintenance culture switched from proactive to reactive, which I've heard from some of the captains?
In terms of electrification grid, that's something we continue to work on. We've played applications for a number of grants to start the process of converting some of our boat to hybrid, or if it's going to be a new build for a hybrid technology. So that's something we're working on. I'll let Mark we have the three new vessels to hold the Equinor and the Monomoy, which are identical sister ships. And since he spent a good portion of the past year or so to talk about.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So the vessels we purchased have the same power plants in them. And this is going to assist in training for our crews, having the identical power plants. These are also been purchased with a look forward in potential hybridization of the vessels. So it's we're waiting for technology to catch up, but at the same time we're planning. In our future vessels, we will have an electric-based foundations, such as for main propulsion motors and other items of that. But that is probably for the next new building vessel. But we're very happy that to improve our performance better for mechanical cancellation, new vessels will be replacing older vessels, which should have better, let's just say, less maintenance involved and less out of service time. Thank you.
Thank you. The last question is going to be from the dark corner. You could even emerge.
Stephen Arujo.
All right, Steve.
We're talking about the rates and everything. How are you guys doing with everything over budget, passing the bond to the island people, the other people? Where's there time for you guys to sit down and just stick to a budget, stick to the boats over budget, the terminal over budget, the ramps over budget, everything's over budget? Would you guys? Who's doing your accounting?
Stephen, what's your question?
Who's doing your accounting? Everything is over budget.
There's the question.
So in terms of the vessels that we are converting, that was something that it's kind of eye-opening. We had been working with a naval architect, and they had provided us with a content on the vessels for the overhaul. But because we're finding out because of it, shipyard or manpower, once it's taking long for vessels to be done, the people at the shipyards can demand a salary, and so that's something we've been trying to address in moving forward in that regard.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody. Thanks for being such an incredibly cooperative audience and being full of ideas and bringing them out. It was a session. Thank you so much. And now, Christine.
Thanks, John. And I can't thank you all enough for this support that I have felt personally from all of you. And hopefully we can continue to provide information to you and allow for more opportunities like this to happen in the future. I'm hoping that the Steamship Authority will commit to doing that on a regular basis. Yeah. Well, I hope you'll come back. Yes. I think all of us hope you'll come back with information. But in the meantime, I do want to thank you all for attending. It really, I know, was an effort on your part, and I thank you for coming here. It was not an easy thing to look forward to, I'm sure. And, I want to know what words the steamship can leave us with that will instill some hope that service will become more reliable. And that consists of dealing with all issues that have been brought up this evening. I'm hoping that we create, which something that I don't feel has existed, is a channel of responsiveness to our community through proper communication. I did the best I could through Facebook, Islanders Talk, my personal Facebook, and other people I know shared information, but not everybody has Facebook. So I'm hoping we can establish regular, maybe come in the local newspapers that will highlight the issues that are brought up here tonight, and reach out to the Ship Authority and our representation here to the answers to the questions. And if they don't have the answer, give us an update. What's the progress of getting the answers? Where do we stand? Because I don't want everybody here to feel that this was a bunch of lip service. As was mentioned earlier, been the feeling that people have left here with before. So I'm hoping that we can get a commitment from the steamship to holding a meeting and to working with us to develop a reliable and consistent form of communication with the myriad of ways that can happen through technology, through social media, through website, which nobody seems to go to anymore, for accurate information anyway. And can we do here to help you? So as a follow-up to this, I'm going to continue to put stuff out on Facebook whenever I have information that I think important to the community. And I hope that we can work with our other sources of media and communication and to expand that to people who don't look to Facebook all the time. I think that would be a really good thing for us to look forward to. So again, thank you so much, and stay tuned, because I don't think that this is an issue any of us should look forward to talking about the same stuff in 7 years. Thanks.